Everyone in this room, it is your responsibility, right? It is your responsibility to do that, to lead, to be that light for other people. Because when you go back out into the world after this weekend, right, you're going to go back to the same things, the same kinds of people that don't think truly like we do. Is that fair? Yeah. And it's easy to fall back into that, right? But it's easy to fall back into your own patterns, and life catches up, and the things you promised yourself you would do this weekend, sometimes they fall by the wayside. And that's one of the challenges I want to throw out to you, is that if there's a commitment you've made to yourself as a result here, that you're going to follow through with it, right? There's so much great value that has been dropped from Jackie and from everyone in this room over the last couple of days. And you'll probably go back with a book of ton of stuff, and you might get a little overwhelmed. I have a saying, right? If you want to do anything right, just work on getting better bit by bit. Yeah, I had to throw that in.
Knowledge right there.
Right? Is if you have that list of things, when you're going to add this weekend ends, you're going to have a list of stuff. Go through your notes again and then highlight which are the ones, okay, what is the top things I'm going to do? And then just pick the smallest one, right? So that it doesn't feel so overwhelming. And then start to implement, right? Which one am I going to do? If it's something about personal development, it's something about my speaking business, something that you heard, that's what it's going to take. It's just taking those small steps. And also, don't beat yourself up if you fall off the horse. We talked about that, how critical we are of ourselves when we don't follow through or a day goes by, right? When we talk about success and failure is always about the little things done well. Because when we talk about quote-unquote failure isn't just, it isn't the one big colossal bad thing that happens. It's the neglecting of the small things that accumulate over time, right? It's failure to not hit that snooze button, right? Failure to go and work out. Failure to speak up in that meeting, right? Failure to not connect with your kids. It's like these small little decisions we make over time, and then something big and catastrophic happens, and we think that's the big failure. It's not. It's the small things that led you down the path. Does that make sense? And success is the same thing. Success, great success, is kind of like brushing your teeth, right? You brush your teeth every day, right? But it isn't that any one day that you brushed it that made your teeth look great. Right? It's the accumulation. If I forget to brush my teeth because maybe I was out late partying and I didn't brush my teeth and I forget the next day, do my teeth get all rotten? No, I just get back on and brush it again. Same with our journey through life and success. It's always just pick back up. It's okay. Today's a new day. Let me just do that little thing again. It's okay. I forgot to brush my teeth. It's okay. That's how we get to greatness, right? The more time I spend around people that are successful, I realize I always used to be so intimidated by successful people. But the more I spent time with them, the more I got to understand them and research, I always found it was the little things. It was the little things they started doing really well. And those led to more courage, greater self-image, more confidence. And then they took bigger chances, right? But it always starts here, and then it's progressive growth. Make sense? So that's what, if I can ask, is that look at all this wonderful stuff Jackie has given you over the last couple of days, and there's going to be more, right? It's just don't get overwhelmed. Look at your notes on Sunday or Monday when you're back and just go through them and highlight, you know what, I super resonated with this. I'm going to start implementing this. Sound good? How many people say, Vaughn, I'm in? I promise. Say this. I promise to serve myself in the best way possible. I love it. Cool. All right. Feel good? Yes. All right. So here's what we're going to do. Before we get moving to the rest of the stuff, we're going to have a quick word from our sponsors. So we're going to have Mike's going to run over with the mic and just get it, Mike with the mic. Okay. How awesome is Mike's mustache? Come on. I know. On a scale of 1 to 10, like that's an 11, that mustache.
Is that a real name, though?
Yes. True. Do you want me to tell him what your real name, or is that still incognito?
My name is Chris.
But Mike from the Murder Mystery was his alias. I think
you
I
had to
want
be
him.
there.
I
You had to
want
be
him
there.
to be that character he was. I think that's what it is. I want it.
Convincing, right?
So well played. But Mike's, so we're going to have our sponsor speak just real quick, guys, almost like a quick 60-second blurb about who you are and what kind of value do you bring. Does that sound good? Cool. Alan, you want to kick us off? Or did I catch you unawares right there?
No, what did you ask?
We'll let Sharon do it. We're going to do a quick 60-second blurb about what you do, the value you bring.
Okay.
Or if you want Sharon to go first, you can.
Oh, okay. Ladies first? No? You want to go first? Go ahead.
Hi there, I'm Sharon. I am the founder and creator of Skinthropology. I have a medical skin spa here, and I assist people in looking 10 years younger. And I do it non-invasively, so no downtime, no knives, no cutting. I have a client success plan that I write up that takes into consideration everybody's ages and stages and particular concerns. We look at how much time you have to get it done, how much money you have to get it done, and yeah, that's what I do.
Very good. Thank you, Sharon. Show her some love. Go spend some time with her. Check her out, just like all the other sponsors when they get a chance to speak. Mr.
Hi,
Allen.
my name's Alan Goodman. I'm the owner of AG Partners and Technologies, my corporation. We also just released directmailleads.biz, and we've never really been fully into the direct mail industry because we've always been doing mail for other people because we are an equipment dealer. And the unique thing is last year we did $2.5 million just playing in the industry. That's for the real estate side of the business. And the unique thing about us is that we train people across the country to do direct mail. We sell them the equipment. We have people that were in the mortgage industry during the 2000 series up to about 2007 that were putting equipment in their spare bedrooms, okay, doing 40,000 pieces a month. It's just amazing. I would always just laugh when I say, where do you want to put this equipment? In my garage or your spare bedroom? And he says, no, my spare bedroom. It's too hot out there in the garage. So the thing is that we're a technology company that can take you to the bottom line. We have some of the highest technology ever built in inkjet technology to print the envelopes, print the postcards and all that. So the perspective is we can provide you with the ability to take a normal cost that you would get from somebody else at 55 cents and take it below 30 cents if you wanted to own your own equipment. I'm not trying to sell you equipment, but I'm just telling you I have both ends of the fence, you know, so when you want to know real cost. But I have a lot of clients that are doing over $3 million a month. With our equipment. I have some people that have over $500,000 with equipment from us over the last 10 years. And it's a fascinating industry, bringing a lot of perspective. The biggest thing we bring to the party is one thing. The Direct Mail Association says that 75% of the quality of your response is your list, bar anything. Although the piece is also most important, that you're going to have words of action that, you know, that get people to respond to you. The thing that we've done is just on a small mailing for a client that was doing $17,000, we cleaned out the list. I saved them $1,114 worth of wasted postage and printing because everybody that I do business with tells me they're people that they've been doing business with, we get stacks of mail back. You know, and all that adds up to $1,100 if they're doing anything substantial. So that's
Gotcha.
what we do.
Come see him. He's awesome.
Thank
Woohoo!
you, Alan. All right.
What do I have, 8.5 minutes? I'm on. I'm Barry Cohen. I am the smarter, better-looking half of Business Solutions for Growth. For those that don't know, I do this business with my wife, Catherine, and she's not here to hear me say that. So what we do is we create strategic plans with focus, clarity, and vision. We work with our clients to create their perfect high-paying avatar. That's what we all want, to get the top clients coming through our door. We'll be talking a little bit up on stage later for 3 minutes, but a couple of things that, just so you know, if you haven't been to my table, we are doing a free masterclass tomorrow. I have information, a little flyers here, and we're also giving away a free 2-hour tune-up. That's a $500 value. Sign up there. We'll draw a winner. We'll give you a call some point during the week with the winner. And that's it. My time is up.
Thank you very much.
Hey, there's something I really want to do. May I? Do that?
Olivia's got an obsession with facial hair.
I love men with hair. Sorry, Barry, I love you too.
Chris is like, oh. It's getting hot in here.
So, I'm Olivia. And I take stressed out professionals out of their office and out of their head and back into their body, their heart, and their senses, and I take them into nature. And I teach the difference between happiness and joy, and I also teach joie de vivre, and actually, you can have it all.
Love it. Woo!
Hi, how many of you have belief systems? Come on, how many? What's the first letter of the word belief?
B.
And the first letter of the word system?
S.
Put it together. And so you don't have, those are limitations. It could be emotional, it could be mental, it could be physical, it could be spiritual, it could be financial. So when you have these belief systems in your unconscious consciousness, it affects everything you do. And look what you're going to go out and speak. How many people are afraid of speaking? How many of you are afraid of speaking? Come on.
I got some fear. I got some fear around it.
Okay, when you go to the grocery store or the bank, don't you speak to people? So it doesn't matter if it's one person or 10,000 people. So in the Anshara method, it helps you identify those blocks, where they are in your body, because your body is smarter than your brain. And it's called Memorize This World. In cell, say it with me, in cell.
In cell.
I sense.
I sense.
And that's your intuition. So when you connect to your intuition, all those blocks go away about aging and about not being smart enough or not being good enough, and you can dump it, and we can get to the core in 10 minutes or less. And I've got some free gifts up here if you want to put your business card in, and you may win a 30-minute session with me. I'm Sherry Anshara, and I created the Anshara method of accelerated healing and abundance. So just say one thing. Say, I in your name.
I in your name.
Come on, I in your name.
I in your name.
Am the only one
I'm the only one
who can validate me.
who can validate me.
And for those outside of me
Those outside of me
who validate me,
who validate me,
I thank them.
I thank them.
And for those that don't,
For those that don't,
oh well. Actually, I had a client call me yesterday and did 3 oh wells yesterday.
all right. Thank you, Sherry.
Hi, I'm Dr. Allen, representing Jump here. Jump, Matt is the Jump rep. It's an amazing company. Who loves to deal with all their social media platforms, all the different logins, and then do this and this and this? Nobody, right? Well, Jump has a solution, a great solution, because it allows you one login to manage all your social media, including setting up campaigns for the next 6 months. And you can edit those and change them. That's the one thing. Yesterday I talked about SEO, boosting your SEO, jumping your SEO from, mine was page 2, number 18, to page number 1, number 2. So if you want to jump your SEO without doing SEO and paying the thousands of dollars for SEO, come talk to Matt, get a free scan. It's going to blow your mind how you can save money, save time, and save a lot of frustration. How about that?
Sounds good. Thank you, Alan. All right, guys, good. So during the breaks, in between, talk to the sponsors, get around, learn a little bit more about them. But now, are you ready to get your learn on? Look at the person beside you, grab my shoulder and say, I'm ready to get my learn on. All right, welcome to the stage, Jackie! Woohoo!
Good job.
Thank you.
Okay, all right. We've got to pick up some pace here. I want to make sure you get everything that you're promised. So, continuing on to the 5th pillar, which is marketing. And again, marketing strategies or having strategies in place are critically important, but there is a universal, let me back that up. It's pretty universal. I'm not going to say everybody, but I work with most people who don't understand the difference between marketing strategy and marketing tactics. It is extremely common. And there's also this concept about reach and frequency. So that's interesting that Alan was talking about SEO. That's one part of a strategy. You want to be really understanding what it is that you need, and you want to be doing everything within your power to get that reach and that frequency. And what's the best way to do it? Anybody? Shout it out. Speaking's the best way to get reach and frequency? Yep, that's one of those things. What else? Another one. Video. Consistency. Being in rooms like this. Being in rooms like this and building your community. So I'm never going to tell you anything more about community because I really want to drive Jim crazy. So I'm just going to drop a little bit about community and then back away from that again. I'm just kidding. Building community is huge, and it's a huge part of marketing, but I really want to focus on the strategies behind it first. So the first thing we need to do to strengthen this pillar is we need to stand out. You absolutely need to start becoming more visible, more unique, more yourself, more authentic. The other part of this pillar to strengthen it is to make sure that you have a 6-month goal and work backwards from there. There's some 6-month goals. I was actually saying this to people. I was going, dude, what's your 6-month goals? And they'd go, oh, yeah, I'm going to write a book. I'm going to do an event. I'm going to build my online course. I'm going to make $50,000. I'm going to do all of these things. And that is a lot. And they may very well be tactics, or they may well be your goals. But I was trying to look for the patterns on how to really break this down so it could be effective for people to achieve them, because those are big goals. So what we do is we break them down into exposure goals, production goals, and financial. I have a whole slide on that, so you don't even have to write that down. The other part of marketing that people just don't do is they don't measure their results. So even when I'm making kind of crazy, fun, silly videos, I know a lot about those metrics. I know what's happening on the back end of everything. Anybody who's coaching right now, anybody who's coaching you and telling you that they can get you a result has nowhere to hide in this universe. Not myself at all. Nobody. And they will try because they'll dazzle you with some other stuff. Maybe that's what's happened to some people. Or they'll say things like fact. But if you really want to know what you don't know right now, that is that you can measure your results of any effort that you're doing. And there's no one marketing strategy for everybody because we come up with ideas. We're like, you know what would be a really good idea? Let's put together these sequence of tactics. We'll see what happens, and you should, on the other end of it, make a pile of money or get a pile of clients. But again, what comes into equation here? Human beings. Human beings come into the equation, and a tweak of a word can make a difference in your marketing. And we can find that along a path if you know that you have to be measuring your results. Fair enough? And we'll talk more about that as we go on from here. But let's talk a little bit about standing out, shall we? Can we dim the lights and look about standing out? Uh-oh, where's the music? This is not a test. Alert, alert. This is not a test. Okay, it's a test. There is a ton of noise and chaos and people and messages all over the world. Everybody vying for those people who could be their potential clients, audience members, leads, whatever. Lots going on. Chaos, chaos. And you need to stand out from that noise. And you need to do that by pattern interrupting. And it is tricky with everything going on, with all of the people putting stuff out there. How do you actually stand above noise? It's not by being louder, it's by being different. And how do you be different in a sea, an absolute raging sea full of all of these people trying to do their thing? It's actually kind of funny because people start to get blind to everything that's going on with so many advertisements and so many of the same thing going on and all of the noise. They start to get blind. They have these blinders on to what's going on out there. If you can actually get into their brains, switch around what they're thinking, get them to stop that automatic pilot syndrome and focus on you, then you are heads and tails above the crowd. So let's talk a little bit about pattern interruption. A case study would be flash mobs. Now, flash mobs are an amazing form of pattern interrupt. You see these people walking along, say for an example, a shopping mall. They are doing their daily chores, they're looking at what they're looking at, they're thinking about what they're thinking about, and all of a sudden, people start to gather, and then, bam, flash mob, people dancing in front of you. Woo! It's pretty awesome. Pattern interrupt. They're not thinking about what they were thinking about anymore. They're focusing on you. When you bring people fully into the present moment, it has this extra side benefit of it builds rapport. They actually start to like you better. Being creative with your pattern interrupts is really fun. There's millions of ways that you can do this, how you can get some people's attention. But here are some great examples. The sound of breaking glass will always stop a room. Laughter always breaks a pattern. Ask a silly question or an off topic. Have your clients move or change their posture. This is actually, there's a lot of psychological benefits with that last one, because when you get people moving around a room, a website, if you get them doing things, engaging with you, their brain tells them that they don't move or go around with people that they don't connect with. You could give a surprise gift, tell a joke, tease or insult them in a fun way. Don't be mean to people. You could ask a pleasure-inducing question. What would you do with $1 million trillion? You could touch people appropriately. That connection, that physicality brings them back into the present moment. A good handshake, that's why that's important. You know, a nice touch on the elbow, appropriate. And again, you want to mind boundaries. This might come as a shock to you, but yes, you can startle or shock people. You can use a magic trick. You could give a nonsensical answer. You could ask somebody to participate in a game, which once again brings them into the present moment. You could do something weird or unexpected. Not me. I love pattern interruptions. They're not only a great way to get attention, they're also fun. Whoop. Pattern interrupt. Concludes your broadcast day. Oh wow, it goes on. I haven't even seen that part. The reason I like to play this video, and let me say this first, this was a period of time in my life. I made that myself. It wasn't Wes and Dan. They want you to probably know that because they tell me everything that's wrong with it. But it was a period of time in my life when I was really into green screen and way too much stuff going on in that video, way out of control. However, there's some interesting things to acknowledge here, which is this is a training video. It gives you some valuable information. People love this. It's also it's demonstrating pattern interruption. It's showing you how to stand out because that is clearly my personality. You know, that's how I am. In your videos, you want to showcase who you are, so that's why I bring this up. When I first started doing any kind of video work or any kind of speaking, so I was transferring from a theatrical position into being Jackie, which was really kind of crazy and hard for me because I could always hide behind the characters. And I would say to myself before I'd go on stage, if these people don't like me, they clearly don't understand art, right? But if I'm standing on stage and they don't like me and I'm telling my truth, they don't like Jackie. So there was some things I had to get used to with that, and I had to get really comfortable showcasing my own personality. Because what I wanted to do is I wanted to be polished, professional, taken seriously as a thought leader like we all do. And what happened was, when I'd stand on stage or I'd do videos, I looked like a cult leader. Hello, I'm Jackie. Welcome. You know, there was no more personality in there, and it really distracts from what I'm trying to do. I would have people come to events looking at marketing material that was formal and stoic, and they wouldn't know who I was, so when they would meet me, it would be like, what? There is a disconnect here. So you need to have your personality within all of your marketing materials. That's what makes you stand out. Pattern interruption gets people focused into the room with you. It's what you do at the beginning of a speech. It's what you do in your marketing materials. It's what makes you stand out. So think about that and write that down. Pattern interrupt. And why didn't you guys laugh more at that video? Okay, good. All right. Pattern interrupted. So then, again, just recapping on those 6-month goals. I want to move through some of the material quickly here. But I do want you to understand why these are the main categories of the goals. So exposure. People might say, I want to get 40 new speaking gigs in 6 months. Does that feel like a really good goal? It does? It doesn't? Okay, how come? Can we hear some perspectives? I'd love to hear that. Super quick, why is that?
It could be a good goal, depending on where you're at in your progression.
And do you want to expand on that, or?
If already I'm doing 20 and it's not that big of a jump to 40, but if I haven't done one for 6 months, then 40, that's pretty outrageous.
Amazing. So what Al's saying here is there's some frame of reference or metrics around it so that you could see where you're launching from. Meaning, if I'm getting a speaking engagement, you're probably going to get more. You have a system for getting those. If you want to get more clients, you probably have a system already. But here's the main thing that people overlook. You've got to build a platform. Exposure isn't about let me find people and I can get on their stages, I can get in front of people. It's about your platform. How many people are you putting into your database? How many videos are you putting out there every single week? What are you doing that you can control in an exposure setting so that you can build that platform? Does that make sense? And everybody here knows the value of capturing leads, right? I have a beautiful friend. Her name is Munira, and she's gifted at filling rooms. She does Qigong, and she'll have these big conferences, and people will come. And she, every time for something like 4 years, was starting from scratch when she was doing this because she wasn't getting any of their information. She would just put it out, just grit, pure grit, doing this. And this is like my very first Festival of Health and Wellness, which is a one-day trade show that I would put on in Calgary and Edmonton every year for 5 years. And I would have 2,000 people come to this one day, and I had a bunch of speakers, and it was a great event, and I had 100 booths, 100 exhibitors at this event, which was awesome. But when I first started it out, I had this idea. I'm going to do an event. This is going to be great. I'm going to get sponsors. This is going to be great, right? Didn't know what you didn't know, except that I do have a lot of grit and determination. So I would go out there and I would start to I'd put together some categories of people that I wanted to approach who might make great vendors. I'd go research them, I'd find them, I'd contact them. I would then approach them and tell them what I was doing. So I was tweaking copy, I was looking at my marketing strategy, I was putting one foot in front of the other. And I found that every 100 people that I contacted, every 100 companies or individuals that I contacted, 2 would sign up with me. 2 out of every 100, and I did every one of those one by one by one, right? And I thought, oh my God, hell no. Like, I need to capture this information so that I can do this a lot quicker and with a lot more ease. And so then I was making sure that I was converting these guys at the event for the following year. And then I could approach the people that I already talked to, who maybe had said no, because it's a relationship. Maybe they say no that first time, but those people are warmer. I know that I have a platform and a measurement tool that I'm looking at, so I can make sure that I have a very large, well-nurtured, and supported database. That's what exposure is about. It's not even so much about you just getting out there. It's about how are you building that platform. So you might think to yourself, well, I want to increase my list size by 1,000 people in the next 6 months, right? And speaking is a great way to do that. So now that you have this exposure goal, which may tie into your production and it may tie into your financial goals, but you know that one of the things you're going to do at that event, that speaking opportunity, is capture that many leads. So if you know that you have a tendency to get 50% of the room to give you their email address, you know that one speaking gig, you need to get the speaking gig, get out there, do the grit, will give you that many more people to put in your list. Does that make sense? So be thinking about that. Be thinking about that. Production. In 6 months, can you write a book, do an event, build your online course? Maybe. Maybe you can if you're hiring people, if you have all of the ducks in a row to do that. But I see this as another place that people are completely unrealistic about. And you know, I have a client and I love him and he's amazing. And we are working on building his online course. And so I said to him, when are you going to get the scripts done and when are we going to start getting into video production? And he'll say what everybody says to me, 1 week. So we're about 4 months in and he's happy as a clam. He's happy as a clam because he keeps tweaking and shifting and putting the stuff together very, very clearly. And he's really super happy about his messaging now. But if he would have went out and he would have started production there, he would have thrown that all away. I've thrown away more videos and content and online courses and anything that you can imagine. I've thrown away more than I have. And that was because I didn't do it correctly and have proper production goals up at the onset. Make sense? Financial. If you're selling a book and that's what you're doing, and you want to go from you're making maybe $50 a month and you want to make $1 million in the next 6 months, you probably don't have a very good strategy in place to do that. Can you do that? Sure, you could, but you're going to be investing a whole lot of money. People who want to make $1 million really quick don't understand that building your business requires levels of investment at each different stage. 0 to, 50K, you can bumble your way through that. I bumbled my way to 6 figures with 2 events once a year, not having a message, not doing anything correctly. Sometimes all I do is sit at reception at the registration desk and go, cool, look at all these people coming, because I did it through sponsorship. You were one of those guys. I just realized you came to those events. I probably reached out to you through that very process. Exactly. Wow. I just remembered that, oh my gosh, that was years ago. Whew, got goosebumps. See, that happened. Proof right there. I love him. I met his wife first. She's a brilliant chiropractor. Anyway, so when we're marketing, this is a really simple way of thinking about it. I really enjoy this concept because I actually studied with Infusionsoft. I was a certified partner for a while. It was an accidental thing that I did. I'm not trying to say that this is something you should use as a tool. I personally use it and I like it. But what I really liked about this company is they gave me this idea and I dug into it when I was studying a lot more about marketing. And I think about this because it takes the pressure and the strain off of everything that we're doing. Everybody's very concerned about selling. I've got to sell, I've got to do all of this stuff, but they don't focus on how are they going to attract new leads, how are they going to get new speaking opportunities, and when they do, how are they going to get that information from people so that they can then nurture them, give them value. This is where you prove yourself. Give something of value and you prove yourself here, and the sales come naturally. That's what happens. And then you deliver on what you promised. And then after that, you have raving fans who will skip that funnel for you, and they will bring people right into that nurture or even sell portion for you because they've gone through the process with you and they've experienced it. So I stole this, and it's pretty awesome. It's a little checklist, and it's about how do you attract people? Are you clear about who your target audience is? Do you know their pain points? Do you understand what they care about? This is so much deeper than just my demographics are single women between the ages of 30 and 60, etc. It's deeper than that. Where do they hang out? You want to go through demographics. It's really important. I'm not going to go through each one of these things. I'll just highlight them, but I am going to get you this sheet. I don't think it's in your workbook, is it? Okay, so I do think that this is a really good sheet that I'd like to give you after the fact. Yeah, for sure. Selling, this is completely different than attracting. Attracting is simply marketing. Selling is different, right? It's all about your confidence, your process, your funnel. How do you shorten this? This is one of the things I see so many times. People will extend their sales funnel way too long. So everyone's too nervous to ask for the sale too soon, right? Because we're like, we don't want to be salesy or icky and we don't want to feel bad. But I want to shorten that process. So where's the jump happen for people? And when you figure that out by watching the metrics of your sales, of your marketing, you can shorten that time frame versus going, like I hear people do this all the time. oh, I'm going to sell my $397 product, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this lead magnet that I'm going to put a bunch of Facebook ads out on, then I'm going to put them in a 10-series drip campaign, and then I'm going to give them all this stuff, and then I'm going to do this and this and this, and then I'll ask them for the $397 thing, and then what I'll do is I'll do a 25,000 email sequence that's going to take them over here where they're going to get to know me better. And it's like, why do you want them to? They'll never get to the end of the place where you want them to engage with your higher ticket offers. You're looking for platforms in which to make an offer. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for platforms in which to make an offer, which means that you need to have the right to do it. You have to earn the right to do it, obviously, which is why people don't want to do it too quickly. But why don't you earn the right quicker? That's my philosophy. I think it works. So I'm going to get you this sheet because I have, quite a bit. We're not going to do this. Any questions on that? Because I don't want to skip over it. It's kind of cool. You guys look so thrilled right now. Is there any questions on this, or do you feel like, yeah, let's? Yeah, you can. You can slide.
I would imagine that the number of nurture emails, let's say, varies depending on the price of or how high a ticket item.
Variables, yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a great thing too. If you look at the variables on your speaking opportunities, you look at the qualifications of the people coming into the funnel. If they're coming in online, never met you again, you probably want to have a lot of videos and cabbage and things for them to dig into. Like Jim, you for an example, the first thing you said to me when I met you is you said, oh, I've been watching your videos online. I have no idea what he watched. I really don't, And I get this all the time because I have a lot of content out there for people to engage in. So strategically, where I put the content has been a result of measuring everything. This doesn't work here, this works here, this doesn't work here. Shortening the funnel, but I'm also willing to take a lot of risks, which means people may get pissed off at you. So I'm going to ask for the sale quicker than some people. I'm going to. So here's an example. I was doing an event in Calgary, and I wanted to get some sponsors. I wanted a title sponsor at that event for $3,000. So I had tickets or apply to speak or something, some really easy to consume lead magnet that people were filling out like crazy. And on the back of it, it said, I put a sales page, not a thank you page. I put a sales page saying, who wants to have this $3,000 sponsorship package? And I thought, there's no way. No one's going to just go from, I don't know her, to, yeah, here's $3,000 on a thank you page online from some marketing that I may have contacted you through LinkedIn. You know what I mean? But somebody did. Somebody did. She called me up. She's like, I want that. There's only one I want it. I'm like, well, that was really easy. And so you look and see what works. You're willing to get out of your comfort zone and try things. But for me, in my opinion, I want to shorten the process. I don't want to write 15,000 emails, right? But I will give you a demonstration of, I do send a lot of emails. Do you guys know this? Did you get a lot of text messages and emails? I'll tell you why. Here's why, because when I'm doing an event, there are 3 strategies that I'm going through. There's the first set of strategies, which is called Drive to Register. That's what I call it, Drive to Register. I want to engage people who've never heard of me before. I want to make sure that the people who I know already are also informed about the event. I want to give them enough value, enough information so that they can then sign a form so I can get that information to show me that they're interested in coming, and I want them to register. That could mean buying a ticket, that could mean getting a sponsored ticket, it could mean if I'm doing a free event, it doesn't matter. I want them to register. Now, when they register, am I done? Is that it? Yay! No. I do another marketing strategy called Drive to Attend. So now I want to remind them, I want to send them some forms, I want them to give me some information so that I know that you're serious about coming, right? You guys know the process, you were all in it. And that doesn't guarantee that people come, but you exponentially increase your chances of people coming to your event if you do this particular marketing strategy. This is what I learned, because I would think, awesome, people bought tickets, they're going to come, but they don't. Are you going to come up here? Not right now. Can we just keep motor through? I'm sorry, but I just want to get through the content because I have 2 more pillars and I really want you to have them and speak. But we will open up the floor for this after, if that's okay? Perfect. Okay. So you definitely know that these tactics that I've put together for people to register or attend, I'm looking at the metrics to see if they're working. If I'm putting out some copy and I'm getting responses back like, "You're so rude, all you want to do is sell me something right now," I know that my sales funnel is too short or my copy's bad, and you pivot and you adjust and you go, oops. And then, that is actually a marketing opportunity as well, because then I can approach angry people and say, hey, this is what I was doing. And here's the secret to how I do this. I just be fairly transparent with the whole thing. This is what I'm doing, this is what I offer, how about you get in on it? That's probably how the marketing was sent to Elan Wellness, which is, I have a trade show, we have booths, they cost about this much, you might be a good fit. Here's the audience, this is what I bring to the table, this is what I'm looking for. It wasn't like, those messages you get like, oh, hey, I see we have a lot in common, do you want to just meet for coffee sometime? It's like, just tell me what you want, I'll respect you more. So it's about being authentic and transparent and understanding where the tactics fit into the strategy. I want people to register. It's a strategy, I build this. I want them to come here. This is what happens. Then we're moving into the opportunities. So if people come to an event, I'm going to give them value. It's an opportunity for us to make an offer. That's what you guys do. Here's the value I'm giving. You're investing your time with me, time and money right now. My job is to give you a lot of value and earn the right to make an offer. That's the system right there. Questions? Do you want to add something now? Sorry, I'll just open it up. I don't want you to forget. Not that you would.
I might, but it was the questionnaire that you sent out that so impressed me. I've been doing workshops for a number of years, and that questionnaire, I've never received that from somebody, and I thought, oh, this is very interesting. They actually want to know who I am.
Yep.
So thank you.
You're welcome, and I love that. Give her a round of applause. And when I looked at those questionnaires, I was looking at a couple of things. Thank you so much. I was looking at, is there patterns of things that I need to add into my presentation so that I can serve these people better? Jim, you want to add?
I just wanted to boil this all down to one simple thing. You cannot ask for the sale too early if it is a qualified prospect.
Right. Yeah, you can't. I mean, it's great.
You
right?
can't. If a guy comes up to me and says, I'm really interested in what you have to sell, I say, it costs this much money. Do you want to buy it now? Mm-hmm. There is nothing beyond that.
No.
Then he's going to say, well, I want this information. Okay, but if he comes up to me and tells me he's a qualified prospect, I'm asking for the sale immediately.
Right now, yeah.
But you're talking about the process of making sure they're qualified before you get there. So that's the key, is you can't ask early enough a qualified prospect.
Mm-hmm. Let's go back to, thank you. Let's go back to that comment I made yesterday. You give a great speech, you walk out the door and somebody goes, oh, that was amazing. How do I work with you? Mostly the reason we don't ask for the sale is we don't understand our own sales and marketing funnel. That's mostly why, so we don't know where to put them. We don't know how qualified they are, because there's levels of qualified too. If they say, I would love to work with you, we don't know where they are. Maybe they're at, like, I'd like to work with you for, I want to buy your book, or maybe I want to work with you for an entire year. So Victoria, she's one of my clients, it was the funniest thing ever at the last Arizona Speakers Retreat. I hadn't even been through the entire event yet, and she walks up to me and she goes, excuse me, can you tell me where I would go to sign up to work with you? And I'm like, you need to come over here and talk to some people so we can get some information, right? So we got her signed up. We got this whole thing rolled out. Like you said, you don't need a bunch of fancy software and technology. Yes, these are tools that we need to acquire, but when we know what it is that we need, but we also have to understand that these pillars work together. Marketing, the pillar we're talking about right now, is about getting those people to you and qualifying them. Just like what Jim said, getting those people to you and qualifying them, sorting them out in different buckets of how you can serve and support them through knowing where people are on a path and how your steps work together so that you can actually deliver a transformation that you're promising. It's a lot of words, but does that make sense? Okay, cool. Awesome. Jim, we're going to talk about community. I don't want you to think I glossed over marketing. However, it's such a big, complicated thing. There's so many people out there trying to help people do their marketing. If I'm going to give you a takeaway for that pillar, if you're never going to see me again, the biggest takeaway that I'm going to give you for marketing is go through those goals and understand what you want, right? Firstly, understand your core message deeply and know what it is that you offer. Really, I mean, and then put something together that you're going to measure. We're really great at making up ideas in our head, but until we measure it, it doesn't mean anything. Not from me, not from you. I'm going to backtrack and say one more final thing on that. When I was doing those festivals of health and wellness, I had all these different speakers in all these different rooms giving presentations. And I was watching patterns for them. I'm like, why are some people signing up for that workshop and not that one? And I started to look like, what's the differentiating factor? What are they saying? It was coming down to sometimes just a word. The word "your" in the marketing had more of an impact. Really clear information had a good impact. This one man had a workshop called, "That's right, this workshop is tons of fun." Nobody went to that tons of fun workshop, so I highly don't think it was fun at all. Because they're thinking, what do I got to do in that room? What do I have to do to have this fun? There was no clarity and no promise. It was just a promise of fun, which again is a forward action in marketing. We want fun. We do. We want it, but it's a nice to have, not a need to have. If I have the choice between, here, that's right, this workshop is tons of fun, and 3 key ways to attract more clients, and I'm at a business conference, which one am I going to go to, right? Yeah, for sure. So anyway. The pillar of community. Without community, we are lonely. What else? No, I've seen this for a long time. I just keep forgetting to change it. I know it's there. Like, oh yeah, that thing, I got to. There's a lack of accountability that we have when we have no community. People are taking pictures of that. This was a trick question. Thank you. I love these guys. There's a lack of accountability. There's a lack of fresh ideas. Oh my God! I love them so much. Can you all take a picture now? It's the Canadian spelling, but we add an extra A or a U. So the fresh ideas, this is going back again to that fact that we only have to the edge of our own knowledge base, and we need new perspectives and new ideas. We need diversity. We need people who challenge us. We need people with completely different ways of thinking, and then we need to be open to be objective, not judgmental about that. People who, when they're using judgment, not only are they finding that push against other people, they're also cutting themselves off from finding something new and interesting. Really, they are. It's crazy. A lack of network, obviously. If you don't have community, you don't have a network. Again, and Kathy, is that your name? Yes. Kathy asked me a great question about networking. Do you want to come and share that question? I think it would be very applicable right now.
You mentioned this morning
Nice and close.
about networking and outsourcing or doing different things in the networking.
Yeah, so not saying the same rote material.
Same rope material. And I've been in networking for a couple of years, did the same speech every week, the 2 minute, 1 minute, and it got so boring. And I wasn't reaching the people that I needed to reach. And they would just sit back and, yeah,
Yeah.
And they could repeat my tagline, but I never could pull the sales out.
No.
And I wanted you to come out with more of what you were trying to reach us with this morning.
Awesome. Okay, I will answer this question. It fits really, really well right here. I believe in taking your material, tweaking it, massaging it, having a signature speech. You guys have seen the body of my work. I don't have to change it every time. I just go deeper or give different activities. These things don't change. The way that I put together a signature speech is very different than writing out a speech and doing it over and over again. I write out stories, training material. I move the things that I need to around to serve the audience and be relevant. So this particular opener story might come out for this event. This particular opener story might come out for this event, but I'm not changing the body of what I do, and I'm not changing my core message, right? I'm trying to be interesting. I'm trying to make things work. In a networking situation where you're giving your 1-minute speech and they will tell you through conventional wisdom, say it over and over again because consistency is what's going to make people remember you, right? That's true, but there's no emotional connection, so they do not give a shit and they will not promote you. They just won't because they don't care. I can say your thing. I've learned my thing. This is the school system. I can repeat back what I'm told. I can parrot this off. Oh, I'm just going to, let that happen. I can parrot this, but it doesn't have any impact. When we are networking, what I'm seeing missing time and time again is community building. People just think about what it is that they're going to say. Maybe we hear it enough so that we can robotically repeat it back, but there's no impact. If I go up to somebody like Jimbo, for an example, it was a networking opportunity. I said something crazy. We pattern interrupted. He looked at me weird. We are very good friends, and we are looking all the time for creative ways to work together. He would be more than happy to recommend me, as I would be more than happy to recommend him because I care about him. Those particular business meetings, I think, are great for learning the rules. Here's how you put together a formal 1-minute thing that people will remember and repeat. Once you learn the rules, you break the rules. That's how I view it. It's Taoism. Rule makers make rule breakers. I mean, the only rules that I want to follow are respect rules. I just want to respect other people. If there's boundaries, I want to respect those. But as far as hard and fast rules about things like marketing, like things about sales, anything in business, for me, I think that if you're following somebody else's set of rules, you can look at a framework, you can test it, maybe it'll work for you, maybe it won't, just like a diet, right? Not every diet works the same for every body type. I want to take this body of information, learn what's going to work out of that for me, and let go of the rest. Does that make sense? So you want to be creative and interesting, and that's going to serve you so much better than having somebody be able to parrot back your tagline. My opinion. All right, so why this happens though? Why don't people have a community? Who feels like they're a little weak in the area of community? Raise your hand. No, you guys feel pretty strong in community? The rest of you feel pretty strong? Nice. Feel pretty good. Okay. And I want to hear from the people. Scott, come on up and tell me, why do you feel strong in your community? I believe you, but I also know why you do. It's a poll.
It is. Everybody give Jackie a big hand. I mean, really. Thank you.
Thank you.
You can't impact the things you don't value. And if you don't value the people around you, there will be no community. Mm-hmm. So step it up. And if you can't join a community, create the community. Mm-hmm. It takes 2 seconds. You can make a Facebook group like that. That's it. That's it. It's just caring.
Mm. Yeah, there it is. Give him a round of applause. Woo! And I don't think that people who don't start communities or join communities, I don't think they don't care as a rule. What I think that there is maybe some fear around it. There's some idea that maybe you're going to be in the wrong community too. This is a really important thing to know. You do not want to be in the wrong community. Not that it's a bad community, but maybe it's not right for you, right? And this happens a lot with people who are more successful. It's harder to join communities because if you are maybe the more successful person in the room, then the other people want to ask you for advice constantly and pick your brain, and it can be very draining. So you put up a shell around you and you don't allow yourself to be vulnerable, which is really hard to exist in a community. It's very valid. It's a valid way of existing. It just means that you're in the wrong place, and you've got to find your tribe or start your tribe for sure. But it also means that you have to find that place where you can be open. Does that make sense? And it's hard in these networking groups because people are thinking about how they're going to get the sale or how they're going to convey their information. It's great to do things like that. It is great to do things like that, but it's not going to build a deeper relationship with people, which is, you saw here. I mean, I'm proud of Speakers Retreat. I'm proud of our boot camps. I'm proud of all of the work that I do with the clubs, with the club leaders who are out there doing this good work. What's happening is they're having a platform for people, and they're going, you know what? Everyone here, do you agree? Are we in agreement? Are we making that commitment that this is going to be a safe and a sacred space for everybody who gets up here? And yeah, they are, right? Woohoo! That's like when you go to a karaoke bar. Nobody judges you because they all know that they're also drunk and going to sing Super Freak. And here's the other thing, you are all holding the weight of the world on your shoulders. This room right here is probably used to caregiving. You've probably been the responsible one that people have always had to look up to in your family. You're the one that is holding the space for maybe the sick people, the broken people, the seekers. You're holding that space because you're drawn to be coaches. It's not like I'm magical and reading your minds. It's just what happens. You guys have these big shoulders, and so you don't do this. Seek help. Because that is that crack in the veneer, that is the vulnerability. So you've got to make sure that you're in the exact right place. So I'd like to take a minute here, and I think, is this in your workbook? Maybe not. I'm going to give you a whole template on this, but it's really, I mean, you've heard, I'll just wait. It's not in there, is it? Oh, it is? Okay. Okay, good. So stop flipping through your books. Let me just go through this for a second and tell you why this is important. You hear this. You're the sum total of the 5 people you hang out with the most, right? You've heard that. I mean, it makes good sense that I don't particularly buy into the only 5 because I have a lot of deep connected relationships. However, the philosophy remains that you want to be surrounded by good people. You just do. High-level people, people who raise you up, who hold space for you, and the only way you can be around good people like that is if you're working to be a good person. If you're doing, and that's why I talk a lot about the self-reflection, that we're looking in the mirror all the time, making sure that we are the best version of ourselves. We're not perfect. We're human beings, but we are striving to be the best version of ourselves. So now the way that I do this in the other template, so I want to explain this, is I might think of a goal. Maybe one of my 6-month goals. Maybe I want to increase my list size. So I'm going to think about who are all of my business connections. I'm going to think about what networking groups am I in? What kind of individuals would I like to partner with? Maybe I know them, maybe I don't. Who are mentors or people I respect and admire? What professional services do I have? Who are my friends? And then what I do after I list this is I don't go up to them and go, hey, I'm trying to grow my list. Can you just introduce me to everybody you know? You think about, again, what you could bring to each one of these people, and it's going to be different and unique every time. Do you want to know how to get speaking engagements? Yes. Okay, when you want to get speaking engagements, there's a couple things you do. Number 1, you look for them. There's a thing called Google. It's awesome. They usually tell you events that are in your area. Number 2, you approach that event, that organization, that individual with proper materials so that they don't have to spend a lot of time trying to figure out who you are. You don't go to them and say, they ask you, what do you talk about? I can talk about anything you want. You're saying to them, just do all the work for me. Tell me what I should do, right? You go to them and you make sure that you are giving them something of value. You do that by researching what's important to them. I see this all the time. I work in the seminar industry. So therefore, I put on events. I work my butt off to put people in a room, and then people come to me and go, "Can I speak on your stage?" And I say, "Yep, but it's a pay-to-play stage. This is a marketing opportunity for you." And they'll go, "But I have something of value for your audience." They'll hear all these wonderful things. And I'll say, "That's amazing, I love that. However, you completely asked me to do the hardest work possible, which is slaving away to put butts in seats so that you can get up on a stage and just, to have that opportunity." What I do instead is I decided to make everybody have that opportunity. And that's it. So I hold the space. It's a creative, sacred space, but if you're going to come and do a longer presentation, it's going to be likely that you're going to pay for the opportunity. And then I get this, and I've told you this before, "I don't pay to speak. I get paid to speak." I hear that all the time. And I'm like, "Awesome. You didn't investigate me one bit. You're asking me to work for free for you, is what you're doing. You have no respect for me whatsoever. And you're showing me that you're not as into this industry as you say you are. You're showing me that you're looking at a fraction of the industry. Maybe you're a keynote, and that's where you've existed, but you don't understand this industry, which is a seminar industry." And I love to tell people, why would you spend a bunch of money on advertising tactics that don't work when you could actually talk to people, a whole bunch of them? I'm not trying to pitch anybody on sponsorship on my stage because I don't care all that much to try to sell it, because I like to give the opportunity to you guys, but I want you to understand how this industry works. It's going to serve you so much better. If you want to go get keynotes and get paid for that, you should. You go find companies that have a specific need for their employees, their organization. You approach them with respectful, proper marketing materials. You don't be a square peg trying to fit in a round hole. You don't go, "I talk only about healing and I want to go to this IT conference." You know what I mean? You might say, "I want to go to this IT conference and talk about how important healing is for IT individuals." Something like that. So I love yoga. I'll give you this cool example. My yoga teacher, she was married to a New York City firefighter, and they went through 9/11, right? And she wanted to give back to that community by offering them yoga classes. And so she said, "Hey guys, do you want to do some yoga classes? I'm going to give them to you." And they said, "We're firefighters. We do not need yoga classes. Thank you, but you can keep that to yourself." And she goes, "Oh yeah, you're right. I actually have something different for you. I actually have a different program called Stretching and Breathing Techniques for Firefighters. Would you like that one?" "Oh yeah, no, that's good." So she got to give back in that way. So I'd like for you just to take a minute here, and before you fill out who it is that you would like to connect with, somebody brought this up yesterday, and I don't remember who, and it was talking about releasing the relationships that don't serve you anymore. Those things that are holding you back, that the people, the habits, the places, any of that stuff that you're keeping in this network that you no longer need, also think about this flip side of the coin. And I'm not trying to be negative here, but a lot of that prevents you from really digging into those relationships that could be more positive. Sound fair? So we'll give them give them 3 minutes on the clock here and some beautiful music. Did you get a book? Okay. Okay, good. One thing, in case you're wondering or looking at the clock, I know we're a little over. That's because we just are. Things took a little bit longer, so we're going to continue through here. We have less people on our list than we had budgeted for time for the speaking competition, so we are still going to make up that time within that framework. So don't worry, or please don't think about that. If you have any coaching sessions booked right now, we're going to halt them till we get to the end of this material, because I really want you guys to be complete so that we can move on and do the speaking competition. We will catch you up, rebook, do whatever we have to do to make those sessions happen, but we're just going to make up the time. That's what we're doing. Yay! Look how excited you are. Who would like to share any interesting findings about community? Anybody? Interesting findings? Jim, come on up.
So thank you very much for getting back to community, because I was looking for the one thing, and for me, I found it. I have been searching and searching for a community to join, and I think the problem is I have to build my own.
It's both. It's both, actually.
And I'm a member of a lot of different communities, but none of them really are serving me directly. Indirectly, I'm getting a lot out of all of them, and that's great, but I think for me personally, I need to focus on building my own community that is specifically for what I'm trying to accomplish. So that's the biggest benefit for me.
I love that. Yeah, that's perfect. And it's true, right? You need to build these communities. You need to be a part of them. You need to, when you build a community, it's one side of the coin, because you are the person who they're looking up to. You're the smartest person in the room. That's amazing. You're going to get the right people. You're going to attract them to you. But you also want to be in other communities that may be a little bit more diverse, or where there's some room for you to grow. So it's both sides of the coin. Just wanted to point that out. But what was I going to say about that? Who else would like to share about community? Susie. I did have something. It'll come back to me.
So I belong to a lot of different communities, and my challenge is that although I'm very visible in this room, that's on purpose, I'm an introvert. And I don't like to constantly participate in a way unless I have an absolute purpose, like selling what I'm selling. So I have to create my own community where I'm not selling anything, but I'm gathering people. And that's why I wanted to be a chapter leader.
Oh, cool.
Because that way I'm not selling anything, I'm just bringing people together so that I can support them in shining, and I'm not trying to sell. And,
Yeah.
And because when I'm in my other communities, I'm a sales whore. So I mean, I sell all the time, and I don't want to be selling all the time if I'm in a community. I want to be supporting and supported in a different way.
I love that. There's a couple things let's talk about right here, which is the fact that I hear this over and over again. People will say, I'm in a bunch of communities, but they're not really supporting me. That's interesting, and I wonder why, right? And then they also say, I've got to build my own community. Both of these things are true, but it's also going back to you again. What kind of person do you want to be? What kind of person do you want to attract? What kind of communities do you want to be a part of? You hit the nail on the head, because you do want to be part of networking communities. You do want to be part of passion project communities. I have a passion project. You'll hear about it one day. It's Adventure Club. I love adventure. I want people to do that. It's a passion project that I'm working on to build that type of a community. There's the speaker clubs, which is a different type of community where we create a safe space to come and speak. So we're looking at what is it that we want to do. If we're in communities that don't serve us right now, there's something that we're doing. There's something we're doing. Maybe we're joining the wrong communities. Maybe we're unclear about what kind of people we want to be around. Maybe we're unclear of what kind of people we are as well. I'm not saying that that's your situation. I'm just saying those are really big crossroads that I see over and over again. Because when you go, oh my God, am I that person who's going into a networking event and not listening to somebody? Am I the one who's like cornering them and trying to get my website into their ears? You've got to take a minute and go, ooh, I want to be the best version of myself so I can show up in these communities and support other people. And it's breathing. It's give and take. You're allowed to make offers as long as you're giving value back and forth. If you're not giving, selling, it's such an ugly word to everybody, selling. I don't always want to be selling. Offering. You're making offers to people.
I want to be selling.
You're fun. But you know what I mean? But it's not everybody's like you, right? It's about making offers to people that they have the choice of whether or not they can engage in. That's it. Yay, thank you. Stephanie?
You said something so key, and it kind of was one of those things you just dropped, but it really hit for me, and that is, in building our communities, I have several communities and Facebook groups that I either manage or admin. It's a lot of work. It is a lot of work. It's a lot of work to even get a community to start managing itself and to interact. Like I manage one for almost 200,000 people for an author, and now it's self-sufficient. They all talk to each other, but it takes a lot of work. And yes, we need to be part of something, like you said, where we're not doing all the pouring into others, but we can go and learn and be supported and grow. And we're not if you're the smartest person in the room all the time, you're in the wrong room, and you need to get into a different room.
Oh, yes.
So
I
thank
love
you
it.
for that one.
Awesome. Good job. Yay. We'll do the last one here. Suzanne. Short people, microphone over here.
A couple of years ago, I did Jay's Mastermind, and I had about 6 people, real sharp people, lined up. And then I got caught up with my mind. I had somebody saying, you're not supposed to charge for Mastermind. And I started going down because I got confused. I didn't know about inviting them. They were all interested. I even had a woman who said, aren't you going to have it? But I know then about the money situation. And otherwise, it would have been great. So I need that encouragement.
Okay, let me talk to this, because I think that this is really, actually really key. I, first of all, think that the word mastermind, even though we all use it, it's just a common word, but it's got so many different meanings, right? First, let's be really clear on that. Secondly, I'm probably not... I don't really build, even though I talk about masterminds, I have mastermind components in my offers and in my programs. They are masterminds that I have really worked on and looked for patterns so that I can engage people and go through making them effective. So what I see that's incorrect a lot of times in Mastermind, firstly, is that people come to it and everybody's like, oh, I'm going to share my resources, but they're doing this in a networky kind of way again. So it's never really giving. It's not really sharing the resources. Right. If you're getting together with a group of peers and you are committed to sharing resources and everybody is equal and everybody's just got a lot of different things in that room to give and offer, why are you charging them for it? I'm with you, man. I'm like, why would you be charging for that? And so therefore, that particular, it's hard. I know that conventional things that people say would be because if they don't pay for it, they're not investing in themselves. But when you're one of those people in that room and you're like, wait a minute, I'm giving you all of my business information, and this person's giving you all of their business information, and this person's giving you all their business information, why are we paying this one person? Why? Like, I don't know. I can't figure that out yet.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But if you call a mastermind, I mean, I'm going to show you a mastermind component to something that I do in a program right away. But this is what I do. I'm extremely specific on the fact that you're not allowed to go in there touting shoulds or things you've heard from somebody else that you've never actually done. You're not going in there saying that this is the way to do it. You're giving data and information on something that's worked or did not work for you, number one. Number two, you're not there to give away your business to other people, ever. You don't have to. Just because you're in a mastermind, you don't have to give that business to people. You still are a business owner. They still have to pay for it. You can make those connections and you can do business in a group. But that's it. Even the people in my programs, I'm like, please, no exchanges. No exchanges when you do events, because what you're doing is you're not valuing, there's kind of this, we can never decide or promise how many people are going to come to an event. So if you're exchanging stage time or something like that, and you have different markets and different marketing tactics, it can harm a relationship. So you want clean transactions. You want to produce a good product for people, and they should pay for it. But if you're giving things, that's where that have need, you weren't here. Were you here when I was talking about have need? That particular process where you have something that you can bring to the group. It could be passion, it could be this, it could be that, the other thing. Then you can create these masterminds that you don't have one person who's benefiting from everybody else. But if you're bringing in experts, if you're producing content, if you're giving them a program, then if you call it a mastermind, it's a buzzword. You said this today, Mom, you're like, everyone's talking about masterminds, it's just a buzzword. But it's an easy word for us to understand that means community, really. Does that make sense with that particular topic? Okay. So I want to talk a little bit. Sure.
This is about the right height for me, too.
Oh.
One thing about masterminds that I think is really important to understand is it is a community, but there's a degree of exclusivity, because what happens at Mastermind should stay at Mastermind, except for the people who've got it can use it, right? So that exclusivity, you may, want to pay for. You want to have access, or you may be able to get it as a part of being a community. But really, who's in that room, that's a circle of trust. And, it's just one of those locked doors. Everybody's all in, intimate, just like Vaughn enjoyed that in Banff. That doesn't really, unless Vaughn wants it to, doesn't go outside of that group. Well, Mastermind's really a lot about that, because you're talking to people who have otherwise success, and the public doesn't have to see the things that frighten them and keep them up at night, right?
Yeah,
so
completely.
It's really important. It's a big deal.
It is.
Yeah.
And I love that level of exclusivity. It's about being around the right people. Why am I losing my train of thought so much today? Community, masterminds. Where are we going with this whole thing? Wow, it's really gone. It's really, really, this is not one of those brown moments. Do you know what those are called? Brown, where everything's like, oh, I kind of forgot what I'm talking about. This is complete blackout. Connection, your people. Oh, yes. Okay, here we go. So, for me, this is what I really believe, and I have this visual mind, and I feel like when you're sitting in your office or you're sitting in your house and you're planning something. I'm going to start a business, I'm going to make a program, I'm going to do an event. It's this little seed of an idea that you are all by yourself and you're trying to create. If you get enough wherewithal and you put it out into the universe, it's like a Big Bang theory. It explodes, it grabs other people and other particles, and it takes them on different directions, and that you have that impact. That's why words matter. But when you're sitting there by yourself, the act of getting things out there so that you can actually see what was in your mind is extremely difficult, because there's a lot of steps. This is all of the pillar work, right? So Without the community, without the support, without the resources, the creativity, where we don't know what we don't know with people, so those ideas are incredibly valuable, right? If you don't have the right community around you, you're never going to get there. And for me, I remember thinking to myself, oh, I want to do this event, or I want to do this festival. And I would think about it, and then I told you guys this. I would approach 100 people, and I'd get 2. Then I did it again, and I did it again until I got 100 people into that room, all by myself, and it was a lot. And I know a lot of people who've tried to do these things, and what's happened for them is they fail. And why do they fail? Because they don't have enough energy or resources to keep going. That's the only reason they fail. If it stops you up from actually doing it, that's the only way it's a failure. So I had this vision of a community. I had a vision of a community that would serve everybody, and it looked like this. It looked like a place where we could come up with creative ideas for businesses, events, products, programs, services that we wanted to do, and we could help each other accomplish these goals. In particular, events. That's what I've always loved to do. I love rooms of people together. I think it's magical. I told you this at the beginning. When a bunch of people are together, the energy is palpable and it's magic. So I wanted it to be easier for other people. I know what it takes to do it by yourself. I know what it's like when you have a group of people who are helping each other out. So I want to talk with Vaughn a little bit. I'm going to show Vaughn here on the screen because I believe Vaughn is one of our pillar community members. I've been working with him in Spotlight Elite. He's been in my program since last year, October. Oh, wow. 1 year. And you know what? All I want Vaughn to do is I want him to have cool events, and I want to become peers with him. We are peers. This is what's happened. I don't want to be a coach that people don't surpass, because there's a lot of coaches out there that do that. I want a community of people who are putting on events and building cool programs so we can all get together and hang out and have fun. That's really what I want. I want everybody to be successful and win, and I've sat there. My unique skill set, what I've done is sit there by myself in my house, spending hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to figure out how to book spaces, how to get people in the room, how to market, how to sell, all of this stuff. And every time I would do it, I'd get one shot. I'd get months and months and months of work and preparation to try to figure out how to make a speech and to try to figure out how to do all of these things. And I'd get to the event, and one thing goes wrong, and it's blown. It's blown out of the water, and you're like, well, shit. I just spent all that time and money. Now what am I going to do? And I would be like, well, I'm going to go back to the drawing board. I don't believe that this doesn't work. I just believe I did something wrong. So I'd go back and I'd dissect how this would work. And then I would go and I would do it again. And I'd be like, I'm not making that mistake again. I've got this. I'm going to do an event. This is going to work. And then a new mistake would happen. And I would go back to the drawing board. And again, I would try to figure out where this went horribly, horribly wrong for me. Because every time I'm doing it, and it's no cheap venture to put on events. And I'm crazy enough to keep doing this for over 20 years. Crazy. You do not know the amount of money that I have spent on these lessons and these mistakes. So for me, the vision of people being able to get together quickly and to do this more effectively is very inspiring. So Al is also in my year-long program, and we went through one of our events, which was the event boot camp, where we look at what do you need to know from a high-level position. You don't get together with your friends and think that this is going to be a great idea, because it can ruin friendships, because not everybody has the same things that they bring to the table. How do you set those expectations up? How do you know what kind of an event you should run? So for Al, we built, I'm mad at you, by the way. We built, I'll tell you why. We built a half-day event, and he sold every ticket that we had as a goal, and he converted 12% of the room. We went through the process of building everything out, and he went, oh, I only converted 12% of the room. I think I did great. I give myself a C+. I'm like, dude, you sold every ticket to hit that goal. Nice. You converted 12% of the room. Nice. Who does that? First event, right? But it's because when you get together with people and you start to think about how you're going to do this, we don't know what we don't know, right? So my vision was to make sure that people could get together and do this, so that they could get together and they didn't have to go one person by one person by one person. They could call up their buddies. By the time people are through Spotlight Elite, half the time they like the people in the community better than they like me. by a lot, right? So they become friends. They become the community themselves. They sometimes touch base and say, we have some good ideas. Would you just kind of look it over? But we're thinking about doing this. Is this going to work with this model? But they go out there and they start building stuff that has nothing to do with me. There's that Big Bang thing, Big Bang concept. I have this idea, I put it out there, this person then collides with this person, a whole new universe happens, and boom, they're out there having an impact. It's pretty awesome. My people, your first events always are rough. Like there's a lot of a learning curve that you go through, so we break it down. But my people don't go into their first events at a loss like I did. That's what I know to be 1,000,000,000% sure. They don't go into it. We had a couple of doulas from Las Vegas who had an event a couple weekends ago, and they had worked their tails off. They worked within the community. Everybody loves the doulas a lot, right? So they have this weekend, and it was light on attendees. And they worked their butt off, but one of the women's mother got very sick and actually passed away, which is incredibly sad at only 59 years old. So there's all of these situations that happen. But they walked into that room, and they had the support of Spotlight Elite, who was in there, who wanted to be sponsors, who wanted to speak on their stage, who wanted to promote for them. So they had this community already built in, and I asked them when they were going to do this event, because they wanted a space that was going to cost, I don't know, $10,000 maybe. They paid $15,000 for the program that they were in with me. And I said, do you want to do this? This is not for the faint of heart. This could go wrong for you, and if you do this, you could lose this money. This is not for the faint of heart. You're going to have to work your butt off. And they said, we want to do this. And they were walking in there, and because I watched them on day one. They were on stage. They didn't even say the offer. I worked with them. They're like, yeah, I can make the offer. They didn't even say the offer. So if they would have walked in there and they would have spent this money banking like everybody does on the fact that they're going to make money because they're going to say words on a stage, that money would have been gone. And I said, we're going to do a model where you're going to get revenue from the front. Then a lot of those people who were Spotlight Elite members, I told them, here's what's going to happen. Your job on the flip side of this is to take money out of that room. I love both of you equally, so here's what you're going to do to take money out of that room. You can never predict how much attendance an event's going to get, but you can predict that you have goals that you can achieve. You're going to get have a system to put in place so that you will collect emails. You will collect marketing collateral, which is exposure, because nothing is better than being on a stage, and also making that offer. You get the offer practice. They would, whether they know it or not, they walked out of there with a signature speech created. They had marketing collateral. I worked with these people to make sure that they were set up to do that. And then that's it. My hands are off. Here's the opportunity in the stage, and any number of things are going to go wrong for you, and I hope they don't. But you have collateral, marketing, friendships, experience, support, an opportunity to sell. And I feel really good about that because these girls walked in there and they were still money to the good. And they can make the mistake of blowing the offer because we're all going to blow an offer. We just are. So I love my community. I want to talk to you a little bit about how you can become a part of this community. I feel like I've given you a lot of value with the pillars. Would you agree? Yeah, so I thank you. Thank you very much. So I'm going to give you just the quick down because Jim, you were asking me how you can work together with me, and we have Jamie. Hey, Jamie, who's already signed up for the program. I haven't even told you guys about it, but she did sign up for this program, so I'm excited to work with you. So we're going to look a little bit about how happy Vaughn is, because we can't ever tell.
So I've had the pleasure, or honor, I guess I could say, of working with Jackie for quite some time now. And you know, some of the biggest takeaways for me is what I loved about Jackie is her sincerity, right? She really comes off as genuine and sincere, and it just comes through. It comes through her energy, her words, her actions. You could tell that. I think that was what had attracted to me, and using her as a coach was that I felt her sincerity. And it was funny is when we started our journey together, it was funny is that I thought initially it was like, I just need the how, man. Give me the how, give me all the tools, and I'm gonna run with it. And you know, and that's true, right? And don't get me wrong, She has provided me with a ton of tools and to where I'm just overflowing with information. But as my journey kind of kept moving, I realized that it wasn't just the how, right? It wasn't even really the how to begin with. I didn't realize how much personal growth I needed to have, how much I needed to stretch myself and put myself in these uncomfortable positions. And the amazing thing is, Jackie was there with me every step of the way. When I was frustrated or when I wasn't getting things right, again, it was that sincerity, the connection, and then professionalism, right? I love her to death. I highly recommend, if you have an opportunity to work with Jackie in any capacity, I would highly recommend it. She's going to push you. She's going to educate you. And you, trust me, when you get on the other side, you will be a different person. So thanks for tuning in, guys.
Yay, Vaughn, that's so good. I love that. So, we're going to talk about the Spotlight Elite Mastermind and Speaking Business Development Program. There's some people in this room who are in the Spotlight component. Raise your hand. That's you. You're Spotlight Elite. It's these guys. Spotlight Elite and Spotlight Group are two different things. Who's in Spotlight Elite? Raise your hand. So we've got 2, 3, 4 of you in here. That's amazing. Great. So this is a little bit different. This is the elite portion of the program, and I'd like to describe this to you. If you are in Spotlight Group already, I take off a portion of this, so just keep that in your back pocket. So this is a program for Spotlight Elite. It's a year-long program. It's 1 whole year. It's a business development program and high-level mastermind. So this is where we get the tools, the personal development, everything that you're needing to get on stage and to make money with your message. It's for people who want to build a speaking business or use the power of speaking to grow their business. I don't care. Either way, they're both the same to me. And this is what you get in the program. And it's going to show you breakdowns right here. The first thing what we do in this program is we do a personal one-on-one roadmap session. And that is really super critical and important to me. You just went through this particular piece, and you can see, I loved what you said in the mastermind, Jana, by the way, where you said, I took this assessment from you, but after our deep dive, my scores are lower. I feel good about my scores being lower because I didn't know what I didn't know. And it was amazing working with somebody like Jana, who's basically, she's got this amazingly successful brick and mortar clinic, and she's looking to make these programs, and she doesn't know how clear she is to her message. Would you agree with that? How did you find the process with the deep dive, just out of curiosity? So many different words come to mind. Can you come to the, yeah. We might as well ask her because she's going to describe her experience.
So I felt like I was very prepared. Jackie provides you with a really good assessment tool so that you have some time to think, because I think sometimes as entrepreneurs we're just going from one point to another, to another, to another, and to take a step back and get a different perspective on your business, because you're prepping to basically give a speech to her, and then she's going to help you dissect it and plug it back into different pieces of your business in ways that you can't even imagine doing on your own. So it was slightly uncomfortable that way, too, because my business is like my fourth baby. Like, I don't want anyone picking on my kids, so to pick apart my business in a way that, you know, sometimes you react with your gut versus your head. And so that part of the process was very good for me. I think you challenged me on a lot of things, and then, but didn't leave me like doing the doggy paddle in the middle of the lake. You were like, here's a life preserver, try this. Or have you thought about this? Or what if we tried this instead of this? And I think one of the things for me is I am like, oh my gosh, that sounds awesome, I'm gonna do that. Oh, that sounds good, I'm gonna do that. And she's like, yeah, but why don't you think of it this way? Because then 80% of this is replicatable. And then you just have to tweak the 20%, which is gonna create a lot more time and creativity and ultimately revenue for you. So that's what I found in that hour for $249. I can't even put a value on what that was.
Oh, good. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you. The reason I do that, and I do deep dives with pretty much every program that I sell, pretty much Unless it's an online, consume it yourself. I believe that you guys are unique, that you need that roadmap yourself. I can't just give you a cookie cutter because you're not cookie cutter. So what I do is this, I don't really do those sessions anymore one-on-one. I used to, but I only really want to do that for people who are in the programs because you get a roadmap. We see where the holes are and we need to fix them, which is what the program does. So then we go into the bi-monthly trainings, and I used to do this over the course of the year for people, but what I found is that they start to want to move faster and they may jump the gun and they may cause themselves to go down this rabbit hole or to buy this thing or to get into this other program or to do something else because they're anxious entrepreneurs. So bi-monthly virtual trainings where you get those calls and that support right then and there 2 times a month is huge. We go through, obviously, the 6 pillars, which over the course of what I've been doing have become tight. And every time we go through them, they're tighter and tighter and tighter, right? So that's a really important component. You get that training. This is why it's different than a mastermind. I'm bringing to you the collapsed time of 20 years and I don't even know how many. I mean, ask my mother who's had to roll out tables and slog and watch every one of these events go down. There's a woman there who's seen every bit of this and every mistake and every time. And so I don't want people to have to do that. So we put those trainings together. I give you everything that I have. I show you, if Barry and Kat were here, oh, they are, Barry's here, there you are. I show you guys what I've done. I show you here, I just did a webinar, I want you to do this, this is how it worked for me. Let's break it down, here's what worked, here's what didn't. I give you guys my contracts, my templates, which is worth tons and tons of money, because why would you go recreate the wheel? People ask me that all the time in Spotlight Elite. Can I get your sponsorship package? Yep, you can. Let me tell you how it worked. Let me tell you how it didn't. Can I get your speaker's contract? Yep, you can. All of these things that I've paid money for training or paid money to develop myself or paid for, I just give those to you because why would you recreate the wheel? It's how we collapse time. We do something called a cash injection call, which is done in 3 ways. Thank you so much, Alan. That's so nice of you. Okay, thank you. It's dry in the desert. Do you guys know that? So the cash injection calls are really important. We did a little piece of one of them, which is money blocks. So what we're looking for is what's holding you back from making money? What logistically do you need to have in place to actually make money? Then what is a minimum viable product, which I talked a little bit about yesterday? Those little low-hanging fruit, things that you can grab on here and here and here, when we are very specific and know that this isn't something that you're just it's not distracting you from your business. We're stepping away from the foundations, from all of the things that we're doing to build, and we're doing something that can put money into our business right away, which is why with Barry and Kat, I wanted to build out a minimum viable product, which now they're selling, which is, the 2-hour tune-up? The 2-hour tune-up. So they have a process that they put people through that they can sell, and we tested it through webinar first. Easy to do. So I trained them on how to use the webinar. They have some software. They're actually technologically pretty solid. So when I'm looking at their roadmap, I don't have to worry about that particular pillar as much. But we went through it, and they were very delighted the first time, and they're like, "Yay, it went really well," but we didn't sell anything. And I said, okay, cool, let's go through it again. Now show me what happened. Let's look at the data. Let's look at the metrics. We switched around some slides, and there is, I don't even know, it wasn't like thousands of sales, but there was a sale or two, right? There was some sales. Why that's important to me is because now I know that somebody wants to buy their program. Now I know somebody wants to buy something from them. So now what our job is to do is to make sure we can sell more of that. Shorten the sales process. Once we get a viable product, meaning somebody bought it, let's figure out how to sell it more often. That's how you do that. It's a process, right? It's not instant gratification. It's not 3 steps and all of a sudden now you're going to just make $1 million. That would be a lie. There's a lot of people telling you that story. Yep, that's what it is. You've got to participate. You've got to show up to programs. So if that's not something you like to do, then don't even listen to me anymore. But if you want to do something that's going to actually produce a result that may challenge you, that's going to cause you to stretch and get out of your comfort zone, then keep listening. This is where if you're in Spotlight group, we do 3 virtual mastermind sessions, so 1 a month. So now you're at 3 calls a month. 3 times you're being supported, asking questions, having this opportunity. If you're in Spotlight Elite, it's obviously 12. So you get that extra call. There's the vault of resources. So this is where you can log in. And I struggle with this a little bit too because I want to drip out the information. I'm a bit of a fire hose, and I have a lot of templates, and I could throw you down a rabbit hole if I want to with everything and make you start to look at this stuff and go, well, maybe I should do this, maybe I should do this. So I'm trying to give it to people in very consumable chunks. Here's what I believe you need for templates right now, and it's this pillar, and here's what I believe you need for templates right now. But you have access to that forever. There's the Facebook community, which actually, Vaughn, it was funny because when I first met you, I said to you, why are you not part of the Facebook community? Why are you not engaging with the people? And he said, I don't really want to work with people who are, I don't really want that. I don't want to work with people who are already, or trying to do the same thing I want to do. I want to be with people who are more advanced. Remember that? But the Facebook group is not just about going on Facebook and having an interaction. Firstly, what I told you is those people have skill sets outside of a speaking business. I come to the table with the skill set of building a speaking business. That's why people hire me. Vaughn has, corporate training, and he's got all kinds of different things that he brings to the table, and he brings that into the group, right? So when I explained that we all bring in different skill sets, obviously that opened his mind, but the Facebook group is more than that. It's about being a speaker, being a verbal processor, about making videos, about putting it out there, about learning about exposure, about seeing what the metrics are. It's another safe stage for you to land on. Sherry's amazing. In Spotlight Elite, I make them do Win Wednesdays. Sherry, you're amazing at it. You're amazing at it. Actually, I want to pull one quick one up. Do you have my Facebook? Internet and Facebook? You have no internet. Do you want to use my phone? My password is shit, just so you know. Do you want to know why it's shit? I didn't make that up. That is because my son, who is 16 years old, took my phone and thought that would be a hilarious thing to do. It's like, haha, your password's been changed. It's shit. Like, thank you, Sam. So now when people come over to my office and they go, can I use your hotspot? I'm like, yeah, you can. The password is shit. So it's really embarrassing. If you guys can find the Spotlight Elite group with that, I'll just keep going on this. So anyway, it's a really wonderful place for you to share, for you to get to know each other, and I love that. But this is what makes it elite, right here, is that we go through this once a quarter, there is a live implementation event. I was doing 2 in programs past, and I was doing more one-on-one coaching, but what I came to realize is the fact that people need to connect with each other, they need to build and develop those relationships, and they do it through those sleepover parties. That's where they become besties. That's where they become really connected and know everything about each other. Everybody here would probably tell you right now that they love Vaughn so much. When the guys hear that Vaughn is coming, they're like, Vaughn! Yeah, Vaughn's going to be there, right? Because they've got to know him. He's easy to love, obviously. Sharon, same thing. Sherry, these guys have gotten together. They were friends before, I'll just say that. But people get together and they love each other and they connect and they build out that community where they, Kathy, want to tell people about what you do. They literally want to tell people what it is that they do. So we had, at the beginning of this, we only had the 6-figure event and the partnership program, right? These are very important to keep within Spotlight Elite because they are very connected to building a community. You don't just go into a partnership event with a bunch of random strangers and go, here's how you do affiliate programs, here's how you do all of the commission things. You need to be partners by going on things like scavenger hunts together, learning interesting things, all of those things that we did in Banff where we made Vaughn cry. I called him a baby too. I'm sorry. But what we've added on was a hole in the industry that we saw, which is the speakers video and media training event. So Sharon just walked over to Wesley and said, why didn't you tell people about this event? Because I told Spotlight Elite currently about it already. And we only have room for 15 people in any one of these particular events, and that's because these guys are making things for you. I'll do a breakdown. But we have a media training, we have a selling from stage event, we have a 6-figure boot camp, which Al told me was worth the entire price of his Spotlight Elite program, that one event. I heard this from many, many people that these events were what changed their lives. And I went, Well, it's not me. I can bring training, I can bring how-to, and I can put people together, and I can push you and keep you accountable, but you also need the community. I knew this so much that I actually changed that pillar from leverage to community. It's not just about one person, it's not just about being a coach. There's the trainings, they go into the pillars. I'm not going to stay there too long. Cash injection, mastermind breakdown. There's some of the content that you're going to get in there. Here's the media training event. So you leave with 12 months of scripting. You literally know what you're going to be creating. You're going to create your own professional videos on a consistent basis because these two guys are going to spend a full day training you on the how-tos and the why you need tos. Not just the hows, but also the whys. So it's huge. They're going to show you how to do simple editing. There's a lot of apps, but you need to know, does this app integrate with this? Is it going to be something that's going to distract me? Do I have a huge learning curve? They know all of the simple techniques that are going to save you. This is going to save you the time and money, and you're not going to have to hire them, right? You're going to want to. There's certain videos you should get professionally done. Deepak Chopra, I say this all the time. He's got you'll see a video and it'll be fancy intro. Deepak Chopra, side of the glasses. Deepak Chopra, hands behind the back. One of these looks. Deepak Chopra. And then the video part is he opens up his laptop at an airport and he's like, hello. And it's a weird, awkward angle. But you don't care because he's got the content that you want to hear, right? But he does still have the professional videos, obviously. You're going to learn how to strategically get on more stages and make money with your message. Wesley, I make so many videos myself, and Wesley had to sit there. If you've been on my webpage, my opening webpage, well, I'm trying to utter words to direction of him and Jimbo of how to, say what it is that I need to say on my homepage video. I needed the direction, I needed the mirror of these guys so they can tell me strategically what I'm saying. My ideas, I think, are great, but they've seen other people and what's worked and what hasn't, and they will share that information. They share it with me. They're also going to make you that professional video that you need. You go through, oh, this is cool. Wesley decided that it would be really great to give you a portable studio kit, to give you the tools that you need to actually have. That includes what? A light, a microphone, and a tripod? And they're going to show you which ones, they're going to provide that to you. Here you are. Here's the tools that you need. Stop wasting your time researching and just go ahead and use them. You don't have to know which one and don't get sidetracked by apps. Here's what you need to know. Here's how you get started. You'll get the scripts and templates prior. So I have scripting on Camera Charisma 101 so that you don't look like a cult leader. and how to put together content. So I have a lot of workbooks on that. You'll do core message clarity. Even if you've done it, you'll do it again. And then you'll probably do it again. And then we'll have a call and you'll probably talk about it some more. And so then you have that call with Wesley is hugely important. Did you enjoy sharing your calls with Wesley? Oh, yeah. Yeah. They're gurus, I know. They're amazing. And they make you the branded intro and outro. So you can just plug in those things. You can be like this. Jim, side of the profile shot. Jim, hands behind the back. And then you can put your material in between. So we have this event coming up in January. We do have specific dates. It's in Arizona. And we have another one to be determined where and when, but we do 2 a year. We only give you 1, but we have 2 because we want to make sure that we accommodate your schedule. That particular event is the only one that we sell outside of Spotlight Elite, so because you don't need to build as much community because you're making very specific, unique to you content. But, the rest of them are the Selling from Stage event, which is really cool. We're going to go through the entire breakdown of the psychology of selling, how to use it, the variables of when and how, building out your sales funnel, and you're going to make a sales video professionally. Wes and Dan. So we're going to do that sometime in May. This is a very specific video that you get. Then there's the 6-figure bootcamp, which I love. I love it so much. Sherry, we did part of it at your house. That was amazing. You only got to come to part of it, so that was cool. Like I said, we get to know what you don't know about events so that you don't go in there and start spending a bunch of money and making nothing. And then the Profitable Partnerships events is really great. Do we have the BAMF video? Because I'd like to quickly just show that. I want you to show so many things. We're going to be done soon. I'm sorry, we promise. Okay. Well, I just put this as a year just to give you some framework. We're going to do one in Vancouver. I have the sheet somewhere. We're going to do one in California, 2 in Arizona, and 1 in Vancouver because you should come to Canada. I don't believe in shoulds except for that one thing. You should come to Canada, right? Uh-huh. Anyway, I know that you saw the breakdown of the prices up there. It's worth that $23,000 or whatever it was that we put it up there. But, and I know it's a big number, this is the investment for all of this. It's $10,000, $9,997, because that's somehow some kind of a psychological thing meant to trick you into thinking it's less, but it's not true. You guys know that it's, you know it's $10,000. We'll talk about why is it that we have to put this, because it's just a part of a process. They've done a lot of research on this. What you do today is you pay a deposit of $997. This is the deposit, and then you can pay the remainder in 10 days, or you can go on to a payment plan. It's $797 a month to build out a community that's going to allow you to put on an event that you're not going to lose a bunch of money, lose your shirt. It's going to give you all of the tools for the 6 pillars that you need. It's going to give you the friends, the connection, the fun. All of the stuff that you guys were talking about on here, we go in deep. This is the community right here. I'm extremely proud of it. Look at who's in it. Vaughn. Wave your hand, right? Wes and Dan, wave your hand. Sharon over there, wave your hand. Sherry, Al, pretty quality people. And these are just the worst ones. You should see the good ones that I have. I'm just kidding. We do. We have a ton of different people. We have you, Jamie. That's exciting. We're going to get to you in there. Jamie's an expert in who can sell anything. You think that would be cool to hang around somebody like that? Yeah, I do too. I'm excited. So once you sign up, this is what happens. You go through that. It's immediate. It's literally immediate. You're going to get a welcome email that's going to give you 2 deep dive assessments. They're electronic. You go through them. It's what Jana was talking about. A booking link. You set up your call. You're going to get that welcome call information, and you get a list of when the trainings are. So we schedule. Basically, you get a mastermind call. You get 2 trainings and a cash injection call for the first 3 months. So you kickstart that. That's 4 calls every single month for 3 months to get you going. So you have these tools and information. Then we go down to once a month because we have the mastermind where we connect again, but you're well on your way. You get the login information, links to the trainings, the cash injection calls, the link to the mastermind sessions, the Facebook group, and the event details and logistics. Oh yeah, and here's the thing too. We give you 2 years to use those events. 2. So if you can't hit all 4 of them, we give you 2 years to go to them. Crazy. So there's 2 in each particular year, 2 a year for each particular one, but we'll give you 2 years to consume them. I think that's fair. It's a schedule thing, because if people are going, well, if I can't go because I can't join your program because I can't make the time this particular date, that's pretty much an excuse half the time anyway. It really is. But I look at objections and I take them away. I'm a problem solver. That's what I do. There is no more. So we have a couple of quick case studies. Let's just listen to this guy, because you may know him. You may love him. You may want to butter him up later.
Last year, before I even went through her experience, I had that much faith and confidence in her and bought her year-long program. And I got to tell you, I have literally taken advantage of about, 8.5%, maybe 9% of everything that she's offered. And the price that I paid was only a fraction of the value that I've received. I believe I have literally received in excess of $50,000 worth of value from this woman. And I paid $15,000 for that. That is a tremendous return on investment. Just think what I could claim if I actually took advantage of everything. If I came into all of those online Zoom calls that you do, if I took advantage of everything, it would be phenomenal. I have this issue. I go to events, I sign up for things, and I regret it afterwards because I have blood and stuff just oozing out of my ears because I get so much content and I walk away with like, oh my God, where do I start? So about 4 years ago, I got to the point of, you know what? I'm going to absorb as much as I can. I'm going to take advantage of as much as I can. And if there's more than I can actually absorb and take advantage of, that's okay. And I have gotten so much more out of this program than I ever wanted to get out of it.
I laugh again.
And there's so much that I just can't even absorb. So my word to you is that if you take advantage of this program of Jackie's or another program of hers, you undoubtedly are going to get a multitude, several times over, the value as opposed to the few dollars that you're going to spend. Only if you're serious and only if you're willing to take action. Because if you just sit on the calls and listen to it and make a couple of notes and then ignore it until the next call comes along, that's a waste of time, effort, and money. But if you're willing to take action, you are going to get results because this woman knows what it takes and she's willing to give you that information, that insight, what it takes to take you not just to the next level, not just to the next stage, but exponentially up, above, and beyond. So I am so glad that I had the opportunity to sign up for your program, to get involved, and I know that we're going to have a long, prosperous, mutually beneficial relationship for a long, long time to come. So you're just awesome. Absolutely.
Oh my God, thank you so much. Here's Stuart, he lives here. He and I spent a good year just butting heads. This is what we did. But the long and the short of it is, Stuart did an event, his first 3-day in this very room, and we built him a $15,000 program, and he sold it. He sold 10% of the room. It was a small group, but who cares? He had a 5-figure event. First time he did a 3-day event. And here's what he said at one of our...
Jackie did a great job organizing everybody.
It's really short.
And the group that she put together, we're really a bunch of rock stars and very diverse. So we were all able to help each other. But the pointers that Jackie gives us and the order in which she addresses each of us individually is outstanding because everyone in the group is at a different point. And to give everyone the special attention that they need is special. And so thank you, Jackie, for doing it, and I'd highly recommend it if you're looking to advance yourself.
Before I started
We'll do one more.
working with Jackie, I did a lot of business development that kind of turned into personal development. So I learned a lot about myself and where I was succeeding and failing. But until I worked with Jackie, I didn't really feel like I actually had a business. So recently, Jackie has been training me on how to run my own big event, and she's taken me from almost no one showing up to my new goal is like 500 people showing up at my event coming up in November. And I feel confident that that's going to happen because she just gives me step by step, this is what you do next, and I do it, and I keep on seeing, oh, well that worked, so I have confidence in the next step. Oh, that worked. So now I have income, which is a big change. Also, my confidence has increased because Jackie is so creative in the way that she deals with people and her clients, and in our mastermind we've done what are they called? Murder mysteries. And I have gotten to explore different sides of myself that I didn't know by having a character to play. And it has been valuable for business because I realized, oh, I don't always have to be this kind, polite, sometimes tentative person. I have these other aspects to me that were uncovered during these murder mysteries, and I can tap into those if I'm selling something or asking someone to do something for me. That's part of me too. They're just hidden until I found out through Jackie's amazing processes about that part of me.
All right, so there you go. I've given you some proof, okay? This stuff works. If you want to be a part of this, if you want to grow your speaking business, I highly recommend you to sign up. I'm going to get you guys to pass out these offers to give you a folder with all of this information in it. If you're going to have any questions about this throughout the course of the rest of this event, come and talk to Jay, Mike, Lynn, myself. Come and talk to us. Because I really know that the people that come to these type of events, what I know from you from speaking on the stage is that you have a message to share and it matters. And I know that this program and the community that you're a part of, the people who are the alumni, everybody stays connected. I mean, you guys, the year's up. I'm never going to let Al go. I'm never going to let Vaughn go. We want to stay connected. They become mentors as well. They become part of the entire process. You get so much just by being part of this community. So if this is interesting to you, sign up. Stop trying to do everything by yourself. Let me help you collapse that time so that you can get on more stages and make money with your message. Okay? Cool. Here. Thank you. We are a little behind for the Speak Off competition. The good news is I did the math ahead of time, so we do have a little bit of a break. So come and talk to me if you want to talk to me about, oh, right there. If you want to talk to me about anything, I'm going to be here the whole time. We're going to get started promptly at 3:30. We're going to go until 5. If for some reason we don't get to everybody, we're going to pick up those spots of that competition and we're going to complete them at the gala, which is awesome. And then we're also going to be doing the 1-minute lightning rounds. Sound good? Okay, cool. You guys are awesome. Give yourselves a round of applause. Come talk to me and back here promptly for 3:30.